Today we're going to be trying out some new products from R.E.M Beauty. She just launched a bunch of concealers, which is what I am the most excited to try. But this actually is a part of a full collection. This is her chapter 4, and it features mostly concealers. These concealers come in 60 shades, which is insane. So here is the PR package that I was sent. They sent me quite a few of the shades. And something really interesting about this collection that I noticed is they actually do have 2 artistry shades, which is what they call them, a white and a black, so you can brighten and deepen any of the concealer shades to contour or to adjust them to whatever you're looking to use them for. So we've got the concealers. We also have a little sponge that has a really fun shape to it. There's a spatula, and also in the collection are blotting sheets and a blurring primer for the face. So the concealers are called the Sweetener Concealers. They retail for $24 US, and they have a really nice weighted glass packaging, and it's in a pot, as you can see. I actually really enjoy concealers in this type of packaging. One of my favorites is the NARS Matte Concealer, and it comes in a kind of a pot like this. It's not actually glass, the NARS one is plastic, but I love using concealers like this, so I can't wait to try this out. Before we hop into concealer, I do want to apply my foundation. So I'm just going to do my routine the way I would normally. And that means that I'm going to be trying out the primer first. So this is the blurring primer, again, from R.E.M Beauty. This retails for $29, and this says it's a multitasking makeup primer that's more than just a primer. It's the last step of skincare and the first step to makeup. It's supposed to blur the look of pores and uneven texture and create a smooth canvas that lasts up to 8 hours. It is formulated with what they call their R.E.M Hydro Blur Essence. So it has microalgae, vitamin C, all sorts of different fun skincare ingredients, and it's supposed to make your skin look smooth, even, and hydrated. So let's give this a go. Okay, wow, yeah, it's very, very similar to the under eye balm in texture, so it kind of has like this moussey, silicone-y, light blue tint to it. So let's see how this applies to the face. I'm just gonna focus it mostly in the T-zone. It has a nice cooling feeling to it, but it's not feeling heavy. It's interesting, it kind of goes from feeling almost silicone-y to melting and feeling cooling, and it almost feels watery in a way. And now it's starting to set down. It feels really nice on the skin, actually. On the back of the bottle, it says to smooth a thin layer over clean, moisturized skin and allow it to completely set before makeup application. So I'm just gonna let that kind of sink into the skin for a minute. While I'm letting that sink in, I am gonna actually go get this sponge damp. I always apply my products with a damp sponge, so I don't know if you're supposed to with this, but I'm going to. So I'm gonna go get this damp while this sets in, and then we'll do foundation and try the concealer. Okay, so I'm back. The sponge kind of doubled in size. It's actually a really fun shape, and it feels really soft. All right, I'm gonna apply just a little bit of my NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. This is the one that I am using the most right now. I'm just gonna do a little bit because I really want the concealer to be the focal point today. So I'm just going to apply this all over, and let's see how it looks on top of that primer. Okay, it seems to be gliding really smoothly on top of the blurring primer. Yeah, that looks nice. I'm just gonna press this in with my sponge. Now we're ready to dive into the concealers. So 60 shades is quite a bit. They have all sorts of different undertones. I'm gonna try to kind of pull from these. This kind of looks like it could be a correcting shade. So it looks like they have warm, neutral, golden, warm, neutral undertones, and even pink undertones, which is really great. I feel like a lot of these could work for me, so I just need to pick one that has a nice undertone. All right, these 2 shades are the ones that I feel like will work best for me. We've got Fair 9N and Fair 6N. Fair 6N looks almost a little more pink. This one looks very much neutral. So, maybe I'll start out with Fair 9N and then layer in some of the other color if I feel like I need to. So the sponge is actually sold separately, and you're supposed to be able to dip it into the concealer and apply it like that. Maybe I'll try one side like that, and then the other side I'll try a brush and then press it into the skin with a sponge. I just have a certain way of usually doing my concealer. So let's try the sponge first. It really does fit nicely into the container. It's supposed to be a creamy concealer with a lightweight veil. So it seems like it's something that's supposed to be brightening as well. Okay, I'm gonna start by taking this on my sponge and just applying it underneath the eyes. Oh my goodness. Okay, well already we have really great coverage. I think this shade works really great for me. And I guess you can also use these all over the face if you want to. So you can use them to contour if you have a deeper shade. Ooh, that looks really nice underneath the eyes. I actually really like how it applied directly with the sponge. Let's try out how it would look with using a brush. So I'm gonna take a concealer brush. This one is specifically from Lawless. And I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna kind of stipple this in. It's extremely pigmented, but it doesn't feel heavy. Like I didn't pick up that much. So a little goes a long way for sure with this. I'm gonna go all the way around the eyelids with this concealer to cancel it out. Okay, and then after that, I'm just gonna press it in with my sponge. It did apply well with a brush, but I do like the finish better of the sponge. I just think it was a little bit more of a smooth and dewy application. All right, I chose a shade that was a little bit closer to my skin tone. This one is Light 5N, and I'm taking this and just going around the face to add a little bit more coverage over blemishes, because I don't want this one to brighten my blemishes. I just want to kind of conceal a little bit more over the areas that need it. Okay, well that gave really great coverage underneath the eyes and also over blemishes. It doesn't feel heavy on the skin either. You guys know I'm somebody who always sets my under eyes with powder, and I set my entire face with powder as well. So that's gonna be my next kind of test here, is to use one of my favorite powders. I'm gonna use the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Loose Baking and Setting Powder. This is one of my all-time favorites, you guys know. And we're gonna see how it looks underneath the eyes over top of this concealer. As always, I like to take my sponge and just press out any of the excess product that settled into the fine lines. And then immediately after, I like to press the powder into the skin so that we don't set that extra concealer into the fine lines, and it makes it look more smooth. Oh, wow. Oh, I think that looks really nice underneath the eyes once it's set, especially. It's very flawless looking. Like it really gives good coverage while still looking really natural. Like it doesn't look or feel heavy on the skin, but you get tons of coverage, which is what, you know, a concealer is for, in my opinion. Also gonna kind of tap out the lines on the eyelids before setting that. And I'm just gonna go lightly on the eyelids, kind of more around, because I am gonna use a liquid shadow from R.E.M. Beauty, so I don't want it to be too powdery. Okay, now I'm just gonna take this same powder and set the entire face, and then I will do a quick makeup look, and then we'll do a wear test. I'm really excited to see how these wear. All right, so the rest of my makeup is done. I'm not going to apply setting spray because I really want to see how exactly the primer holds up and the concealers hold up. And then later tonight when I come back after my wear test, I really want to try out the very last part of this collection, which is the Satin Sheets blotting paper right here. So we'll be able to test those out at the end of the night once I have a little bit more oil showing through. I typically get oily in the T-zone, so I think it'll be fun to see how those work as well. Honestly, everything applied really smoothly all over the face. I feel like there is more of like a soft blurring effect with all these products, especially layered on top of each other. So it's not gonna give you a lot of dewiness, but for me, that's what I actually really like when going into a long day, or when I want something to have, yeah, that longevity to it, or even more of that airbrushed look. I feel like this is what that's giving, is more of like an airbrushed, soft focus, blurring finish with the primer and even the concealer. And when the powder's on top of it, it really just kind of smooths everything. So I'm excited so far. I'm gonna wear this for as long as possible. It's currently 6:49 p.m. I'm quite the night owl, so I'm gonna be trying to wear this for many hours. And then we'll come back and see how everything held up and try out the blotting sheet. So I'll see you guys back here in a few hours. All right, so I'm back. I feel like I need lip balm. And my studio lights are so bright right now. I was in my living room with really dim lights, and so I turned these on and it's like, whoa, extra bright. Okay, let's take a look at the concealer. Honestly, I feel like it looks really nice underneath the eye area especially. I definitely have oils coming through here. Oh, first of all, it is currently 2:45 in the morning. I am ready for bed. I'm pretty tired. So that means I've been wearing this for almost 8 hours. But yeah, the concealer under the eyes looks really good. I would say that there is a little bit of separation and oil around the nose and quite a bit of shine here, which I didn't apply concealer there, but that's more for the primer. But this area here looks really nice. And there's not really separation in the T-zone besides around the nose, which is pretty typical. And on the sides of the face, everything looks super balanced and nice. So now, let's try out the blotting sheets. I feel like this is a perfect state to have my makeup in to try out these blotting sheets. So the blotting papers obviously absorb excess oil, they reduce shine, and they help purify pores. This has black bamboo charcoal, which is known to detoxify. I'm just reading off a little PR paper, and it's easy to stash in your bag. So here's the packaging. It actually has like a silicone envelope, and then inside you have the papers, and it looks like, can you tuck this in? No, okay, so you just leave it like this, like a little envelope. Okay. All right, I grabbed one paper. Here's the size. It's a pretty decent size, not too big, not too small. Let's go ahead and try this out on half the face and see what happens. It's probably gonna pick up quite a bit, honestly, because I haven't touched up at all today. So you can see the oil already picked up. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, that definitely worked really well. I'm gonna take a clean part of the paper and go right here in the T-zone. Around my nose is usually where I get pretty oily. Let's go over half of the nose. You know, blotting papers are really something special. I feel like I should use them more than I do, because the nice thing about it, unlike a blotting powder, is it doesn't add any extra product to the skin. It just absorbs the oil and refreshes your makeup completely. So here's the side where I just blotted. And besides the areas where I kind of feel like the concealer separated around my nose, everything else looks brand new. Let me see how much these retail for. So the blotting papers are $20, and I'm not exactly sure how many sheets you get. Let's go ahead and blot the other side of the face. I'm gonna kind of flip the paper over. Well, that actually worked really, really well. Wow, okay. I literally don't have any more oil left on my face that's bothering me in the T-zone anyway, and things look pretty refreshed. I feel like if it weren't for the sides of my nose, I think it would have looked really, really nice. I'm gonna take the sponge and just see what would happen if I were to try to blot out some of that separation. Yeah, that seemed to help a little. This is what I would do if I were to have touched this up. Wow, doing that makes it look a lot better and smooths everything out, so I feel completely refreshed. That's so amazing. I really need to use blotting sheets more than I have in the past, and that worked really well. I'm excited about these. Well, here's what it looks like after almost 8 hours with the blotting paper refreshed. I feel like I could wear it for another 8 hours at this point, especially after kind of blotting out the sides of my nose where I feel like it looked more expired. Everything else looks fresh and brand new again. So let's talk about everything. Starting with the blurring primer, I do feel like this definitely had blurring properties, and especially now that I blotted the oils off my face, I can still see a lot of that blurring in the T-zone here. I'm somebody who usually goes for more of a hydrating primer, so I don't know, I'll have to keep using this. I don't feel like it's something that would go into my everyday routine just based off of my personal preference when it comes to primers. There's a time and a place for a blurring primer, but it's not something I reach for every day. With that being said, I really did enjoy this texture. I liked how lightweight it felt. I liked how it kind of has a skincare feel where it melts and kind of feels watery and then smooths and dries down. It's a really interesting texture. I liked that about it. We'll just have to see if it's something I reach for, since I don't always reach for blurring primers on a daily basis, usually just for special occasions or for photos. Like if I know I'm gonna be in pictures, I like to use a blurring primer right here where my pores are largest. The concealer, honestly, I really did enjoy this. I especially loved how it applied under the eyes with the sponge, a damp sponge. I don't know if you necessarily need this sponge, but it is helpful, the shape of it, to kind of get in there, and it applied under the eyes really beautifully. Now that I've seen it around the nose, I would probably just go a little bit lighter around the nose area. A little goes a long way, and I feel like I could have honestly used a little less today, even though I did really enjoy how it looked. I like how it stayed under the eyes, and it gives really great coverage without having to apply too much. I feel like the damp sponge really helped it not feel too drying. When I applied it with a brush, it almost had a little bit of a drier texture, so I definitely preferred how it looked when it was applied with a damp sponge. I just feel like it blended out really seamlessly and looked really nice. So I'm excited about that, and I feel like it had good longevity, good coverage, which is what I love in a concealer. There's a time and a place for a lightweight concealer, but when it comes to my under eye circles, like I really want my under eyes to look bright and like I've slept for a long time and I just want to look fresh, and I feel like this offered that kind of a coverage and stayed intact underneath the eyes all day long, which I really liked. I also really liked how it stayed put on the outsides of my face. So what I learned from today is I won't be applying too much around the nose or building it up too much around areas that may crease. A little goes a long way with that concealer, but I am really excited to keep using it. I think it's really pretty. Last but not least, the blotting sheets actually shocked me. I feel like most blotting sheets do a similar thing. I haven't tried that many brands of blotting papers, honestly, in my makeup career, because I usually go for more of a mattifying powder in my bag, but this is making me really want to dip into things like this or just keep these in my purse, because my makeup looks so refreshed. And again, I like it because I didn't have to add any more makeup to the skin. Even after hours of wearing it, it just took away that oil and literally looks brand new again. So these were really good. I'm actually impressed. I thought that these would just be like, oh, cool, that's fun, but it didn't pick up any makeup, and I was really pressing and rubbing in the T-zone to really pick up that oil, and it didn't disturb anything underneath, which is great. So I'm happy about those. Overall, you guys, I'm actually really impressed with this collection, and I'm excited to keep using it. I do feel like this concealer is a little bit more of like a special occasion concealer, and I feel like because I'm somebody who's been using the Bear With Me concealer from NYX for a long time, this is a little bit more of a heavy duty feeling concealer. But again, there's a time and place for it, and I'm really looking forward to continuing to play with it and see how it works with other primers and maybe see how it works all over the face as a foundation. I would love to try it that way as well. I would also love to try it without the blurring primer and with some of my other go-to primers. So I will definitely keep using it, and I'll keep you guys posted on how it ends up working itself into my routine. I would love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Are you into this concealer? Do you enjoy concealers that come in a container like this? Is this kind of your vibe? Have you tried this? Has it worked for you? I would love to hear from you in the comments down below. If you're new here, hi, my name is Allie, and I would love for you to join the family. You can do so by hitting the subscribe button. And if you're already a subscriber, but you want to be notified on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, click on the bell after you subscribe, and you'll get a notification every single time I post. That's it for me today, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if there's something else that you saw launched that you would like to see me try next in the comments. And I hope you have an amazing day wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Love you. Bye.